Hey, it's your favorite paralegal, aka Cassandra Lynn, coming back to you guys today with a court case out of Dallas, Texas. We're going to hop into it. So, if you are not aware of this situation, what happened on Saturday morning here in Dallas, Texas, you are going to be baffled. Drunk driver had an entire arm in passenger seat after unaliving pedestrian, Dallas police say. Guys, I am 15 minutes from what where this happened, so I am baffled that I had heard anything, but then again, I spend all day working. So I am not really in tune with the news like that because I do not watch the news. But when I was scrolling on Instagram this morning, this popped up, and I have to get into this and see what's going on. So, a man with two DWI convictions is accused of hitting and killing a pedestrian and failing to call 911 for half an hour. If you don't know what half an hour is, that is 30 minutes. In Texas, in, in Texas, I do personal injury. That personal injury is my first love, then it's family law, and then it is criminal law. So when I draft petitions dealing with personal injury cases, one of the things that I do is I look up police records to see if you've had any type of previous convictions, especially in cases like this. So, anytime you are involved in a motor vehicle accident, whether it's with another vehicle or a pedestrian, you have to stop and render aid. That is something that you have to do. So this person not only was drinking and driving, he hit a pedestrian and he fled the scene. And on top of that, he failed to stop and render aid. Dallas police say that the suspect finally did call 911. They found his BMW with heavy damage and a human body part in the passenger seat. They said his speech was slurred, eyes glassy, and reeked of alcohol. So this is our suspect. Dallas police say 31-year-old Juan Morgan Munez. I looked him up. His full name is Juan Morgan Munez. Was drunk when he hit and unalived a pedestrian with vehicle early Saturday morning in Northwest Dallas, literally up the street from me, 15 minutes. Munez was on probation at the time of the crash due to previous DWI conviction. He now sits in the Dallas County Jail, facing felony DWI and collision involving unaliving related to the weekend hit and run. According to the arrest warrant affidavit Fox 4 obtained on Monday, Munez called 911 to report the crash more than 30 minutes after it happened. Munez admitted to the police he hit a person with his BMW near Story Road. Story Lane and I-35 East, and then continued to drive about a mile to his employer, Mako Auto Body Shop. Grainy surveillance video shows the police presence that shut down Story Lane for more than 8 hours. In the auto shop parking lot, officers noticed the white BMW had a hole in the front passenger windshield and a tire, an entire arm on the front passenger seat, along with blood. Hmm. Investigators say Muniz had glassy, watery eyes, slurred speech, and a strong odor of alcoholic beverage. Muniz told officers he left a Granders, was headed into work. If you live in a DFW metroplex, you know how far Grand Prairie is from this exact location you see on the screen. Monday, Fox 4 visited the Mako Body Shop, where the manager said Muniz wasn't scheduled to work overnight. I read a little bit of the police affidavit or the arrest affidavit, and this happened, I want to say 12 a.m. in the morning. So, it's pitch black. So, 12 a.m., and then you arrived at work. Interesting. Muniz claimed to police he took one Patron shot in the afternoon. So, mind you, the incident, the wreck happened, or the hit and run happened around 12 a.m. ish in the morning. So, afternoon to 12 a.m., man. However, police said he didn't pass any field sobriety tests. Plus, police recorded his breathalyzer test at a .179, which is more than twice the legal limit. In Texas, the legal limit is .08. Mm. In 2018, Muniz pled guilty to a DWI charge out of New Hampshire and paid a fine. In the summer of 2023, Muniz was arrested for DWI in Fort Worth. He pled guilty and was sentenced to 2 years probation. I am going to correct this because he was actually arrested in April of 2022 and he was convicted in the summer of 2023, and I will pull that up in just a second. Unfortunately, the victim has not been identified yet, which is very, very sad. This is ongoing, so I will definitely keep you guys updated with once we get if they get the name of the victim. In addition, Muniz did provide a blood sample before he was booked into the Dallas County Jail. According to the arrest warrant affidavit, he told detention officers that he did have a controlled substance in his system as well. That boy was partying. That boy was partying, y'all. Alrighty. So we are going to get into the actual arrest. Well, not the arrest, his case out of Tarrant County. Give me a second. Okay. Whoo-wee. So what we have here is an order for deferred adjudication. If you are not familiar with deferred adjudication, it is usually offered to first-time offenders. Even though this is his second DWI in his life, entered his first. I was unable to find any New Hampshire records because I don't really have, the county or the city that it was in, and I just didn't have time to search for that. But I definitely would get on that to see, what. Well, we know what the outcome was. He paid a fine, but I just wanted to see, as far as his blood alcohol count, so on and so forth. But here, the deferred adjudication, like I said, is offered to first time offenders, and it's typically a better deal than actually doing regular community supervision. Because what happens is, after you finish the term successfully, no violations, nothing of that nature, you don't have a conviction. Okay. And the upside of this is, once you have successfully completed deferred adjudication, you could actually seal your arrest records with a non-disclosure. I do it all the time. Well, not for me. I assist the criminal law attorney in drafting either expunges or non-disclosures. But that is something that is offered to an individual if they were given deferred. All right, so that's part one. Now going into his actual um order. So the arrest, as I stated, it was April 3rd of 2022. If you haven't been with me for a while, I usually talk about sometimes the date of offense, the offense, it just depends on the district attorney as to when they are actually going to file a complaint to start the litigation process. So you can commit an offense, one day, and then a couple of days later, the state can file against you. Whereas sometimes it may take a whole year, but they have up to 2 years to bring forth a lawsuit regarding your offenses. So here he was actually arrested on April 3rd, 2022. He was they went through the court proceedings and everything. So this order was actually signed on June 9th, 2023. Now going through this, if we look at the terms of plea, everybody can see this portion right here. I don't know if y'all can't see my cursor, but that's okay. So the terms of plea, he got deferred adjudication for 24 months. If you don't know what 24 months is, that is 2 years plus a $500 fine plus additional terms. So I want you guys to pay attention to this. It clearly states an interlock as a condition of probation. That means if you have a car registered in your name, you have to put an interlock system in there. Now, how this individual was able to drive, all over the Metroplex without doing the breathalyzer from the interlock system that was placed in his car is beyond me. I have no clue about that, and I definitely am going to do some further investigation when it comes to that. But it's wild that he was ordered to put an interlock system, and that did absolutely nothing, because here we are. So in this particular case for Tarrant County, he was placed on deferred adjudication for 2 years, a $500 fine, plus an interlock system. That was part of his terms and conditions. And I'm assuming when they picked him up in North Richland Hills, he had a 3 days credit, 3 days towards incarceration. So yeah, he had a 3-day credit. He appeared with his counsel, so on and so forth. So what does this mean? What does this absolutely mean? Come back to you guys. What this simply means is that he had an order of deferred adjudication already in Texas. Not only did he hit somebody, he unalived somebody, he failed to render aid, and he was driving while intoxicated. So those are his three charges that are current. All of this has now violated the order of deferred adjudication. Had a hearing on the 17th, and I am just waiting for Dallas County to upload to the court docket so that way I can get some information on the Dallas case. But because of this incident, it violated this. And I did see on the Tarrant County docket that they were notified, they are aware that this incident happened, and he actually ended up getting a court appointed attorney. So now we just have to uh, stay on the what I want to say, just monitor this case. I'm going to see when the hearing is and actually what is going to happen now that he has these new charges that are damaging. It does not look well at all because now this DWI is your second DWI, which is a felony. And on top of failure to render aid and just fleeing the scene. When I say fleeing the scene, the scene where everything took place. So I know that the Dallas got some work to do in regards to trying to figure out who this person is, to reach out to their family. And one thing I do want to say is that in the event that the victim is identified and the family is identified, depending on the circumstances, they can file a wrongful death suit against this individual. Normally, how can I say this? When we're dealing with personal injuries, such as, with pedestrians, the defendant or the at fault party has to have some type of insurance that we can go after. Now, he was driving a 2021 BMW. I can't say whether or not he has insurance because, from experience doing these cases every day, I'm talking about the older the vehicle, people out here will just have a liability. But if you don't have that full coverage that has where it can cover things of this nature, then it's not really anything that can be done, because when we file a personal injury or wrongful death, we are going after after the individual's insurance. Now, they can go after him. There is actually another program that is called, but once it comes to me, I would definitely update with y'all. But when a victim is subject to an incident like this, it's like a crime. I forgot what it is. I'm gonna figure out what it is, and I'm gonna do a part two of this. But can also go under that particular program. They do the investigation, and they may receive a payout from them. So it just all depends. But first and foremost, they have to identify who the victim is to even give the family an opportunity to do what it is that they need to do. But Mr. Juan Carlos Morgan Munez, there's no reason why you should have been driving intoxicated and under the influence of controlled substances and alcohol from Grand Prairie in the wee hours of the morning. And yes, people be out that in the wee hours of the morning over here. But that area, like I said, if you know Dallas, you know that area. But to the victim's family, my condolences if you ever sees this video. um, but definitely prayers to that individual's family, because nobody should have to go through this. I declare y'all, the number of hit and run cases in Dallas alone is crazy. And the only thing that we have is the cameras, like surveillance from houses or stores or ring cams or whatever the case may be. Last story, I kid you guys not. I want to say it was the week my oldest son graduated. And I took me and my younger two kids went to go get some takeout from down the street. We're coming back home, and I turned down the app because that's I like to park in my garage, and I see the left side of Jupiter shut down, ambulance, everybody there. So I turned and I look and I see a woman consoling somebody that is laid out on the ground. So because I don't know, because I do personal injury, it's just like I feel compelled. Now, I'm not trying to give anybody no legal advice or nothing like that, but if I am able to help in any way, I am going to provide my assistance. So I hurried up and I took my kids home, dropped off the food, and I went back down the alleyway to go to the scene. And it was the way that it was, so me coming alleyway, I go into the main street. Across is a median, and I see a motorcycle laying on the median. I would say about 50 yards away was the woman consoling the individual that was on the ground. And when I ran up to them, dude had the way he was laying, y'all, it was really, really sad. I can't get that image out my head. Um, he had whew, I do medical records, so I'm just going to describe it in medical terms. So I know that he had a brain injury because he had bleeding from his head, two broken arms. I'm assuming that his legs were one leg was distorted. I'm not even going to hold you. Um, that's the best way that I can describe it. I don't want to be too graphic. So I asked them what happened, and one individual seen the whole thing. And so she told me that it was two cars racing or possibly three. And the guy that was on a motorcycle was coming out from the neighborhood, and I'm assuming that the person did not see the person coming out, the motorcycle guy, and he hit him, and the impact was so hard that the dude flew in the air and landed, and then everybody stopped, but the subject fled. Now, I didn't see all this. I think if I would have left a little bit earlier from the chicken place, I would have seen somebody speeding, with their lights off. So I just kind of went into paralegal mode. Okay, what would I do in this instance? Look at surveillance. Like, I knew I was waiting for the cops, but I was trying to do things so I can make their lives a little bit easier. So I run to the stores and I try to see if, the camera was facing the street. And then what they told me was that they even seen it from inside the store. The dude turned his lights off. This is at nighttime, so you really can't see. And the area is not really, really lit to even identify the license plates. I don't want to say the color of the car, but license plates. So I'm like, man. So I started going in the neighborhood trying to see if anybody had ring door cameras or cameras near their garages that pointed to the street. We have no clue. So then I end up going to the Jack in the Box because I was like, if these people were racing, then I know that they had to pass by this Jack in the Box. So then I went into the store. I spoke with one of the employees, and they said, yes, that camera goes directly to the street. And I was like, good. So by the time I got back to the scene, I spoke with the detective and I said, hey, you may want to check out. And I know they know their jobs, but I wanted to make it easier. So I was like, hey, the Jack in the Box here, they have a surveillance that you can kind of see not only the party that hit the individual, but also the other people that were actually racing against him. But long story short, they was able to find that individual, and I'm going to do my due diligence because that is something that I want to bring up to you guys as well, and I want to talk about. Um, but they were able to find this individual, and I hope that he um, gets everything that he deserves, and I hope he has good insurance, and if not, they just sue him for everything that he has, because that was horrific to even witness. But the individual, I was told, is still in ICU. Well, yeah, he's there was a lot that was going on with him, but I do pray that it's going to be a long recovery road, especially trying to learn how to, if he is unable to walk, how to walk again. I've been through that too, and it's hell. But yeah, so going back to this case, I didn't want to keep you guys long, but I just wanted to definitely tell you guys about this case that is developing in Dallas. Once I get some more information, I'll definitely update you guys. Please tune in. I'm gonna let you guys go. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support, my Cash App is pinned below. But until then, guys, be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. I'm out.